Evening. I know you didn't think you were going to get through a Wednesday without me coming on. I know you all didn't think that. It is late. I felt as though I wanted to just try a different time for you all. So I wanted to jump on real quick. Tonight is going to be a super short topic. It was birthed out of a conversation that I had earlier today. There was an outstanding conversation, really, really good. And so I was like, oh, this is going to make a great topic for the group tonight. All right. So hopefully you all can chime in. And it is something that people do wonder about and that I've heard on other platforms as well. To be honest with you, I have heard on other platforms people talking about hard money lenders and them taking your property, right? And I have heard uneducated investors and some educated investors say, that a hard money lender is just out to take your property. And I want to let you all know that I can't speak for any specific hard money lender other than Epic Impact Investors, right? That's my company. I know what its mission is. I know what its purpose is, and I know what its heartbeat is, and that is to uplift, build wealth in communities of color to help bridge that and close that wealth gap. All right. So that is the purpose of Epic Impact Investors. So I can't speak for any other hard money lender. But it is a difficult conversation, and it is an honest conversation of what happens when a borrower defaults on the loan all the way to the extent that the hard money lender, i.e. Epic, has to take the property. All right. And the issue is you have some investors out there who their first statement is going to be hard money lenders are trying to take your property. That's what their first statement is typically. They're trying to take your property. Don't do hard money loans. So before we get to that, I'm going to address that. But before we get to that, let's just talk about how the borrower got to that situation, right? So before that, they took out the loan. We, as the hard money lender, Epic, we try to work with them through the loan, right? So there's things that we do for them. We give them an extension if necessary on time. We make sure the money doesn't get ahead of the construction so that our capital investor is not overexposed in the project. And then most importantly, we can keep up with constant, consistent communication. Communication cannot be overrated because you'll be able to tell sooner rather than later that there's an issue with this property and we need to start preparing or providing additional support to the borrower. Now, additional support doesn't necessarily mean additional money. It could be, we've got to find you a new contractor, or let's make some recommendations, or let me suggest something to you. And sometimes, outside of all of that, there are some borrowers who just cannot complete the project. Whatever the reason, it could be, it runs the gamut. Maybe something took place in their life and they just cannot do it. Maybe the other person who was working with them on a project, if they were partners, has left. You don't know what the reason is. All right. But whatever the reason is, they got to this point that they cannot complete this rehab. They have stated it. We have gone above and beyond to work with them so that they could get to the end result, which is a successful project, completed project, but they can't get there for whatever reason it is on their end, not the hard money lenders end, right? And so when everything has been said and done and every stone has been left unturned, unfortunately, the hard money lender has the right to take the house. Remember, we're trying to do whatever we can to get our capital investor paid in full. At least at the minimum, we want them to get their principal investment back, right? But we always strive to get them their interest back as well, right? So we end up at this point. Borrower can't finish, whatever. We end up having to move to foreclosure to end up taking the house. But I want to be clear here, and I'm going to address that statement earlier that some people make, that hard money lenders are just out to take the house. There is a huge difference between an unintended consequence, meaning you have to take the house because the borrower can't finish, and you've worked with them and you tried everything, and that being your goal from the start. It is not Epic's goal from the start to overburden that borrower, to create such a situation that we're automatically going to foreclosure so I can take this house from you. That is not our goal from the start. There are sharks out there, just like there's sharks in any industry, right? There's sharks out there. And there are unscrupulous and unethical hard money lenders out there where their sole goal is to try and take that property from you from the beginning. But you have to know your hard money lender. You have to know their reputation. You have to know what their mission is, what their purpose is. Those sharks, honestly, are few and far between. Do they exist? Absolutely. Absolutely. But as far as Epic Impact Investors is concerned, we are not in business to take the property. I have been a real estate attorney for 20 years, real estate investor, private money lender. I want to do what it is that I set out to do, which is loan money, get my money back plus interest. I don't want to take the property. I don't want to have to worry about finishing the property. I don't want to have to worry about wholesaling the property. That is not our goal. Okay. So I want to be very clear that it is a difference between having to take the house as an unintended consequence because the borrower was unable to finish, and that being the hard money lender's goal from the start. All right. And let's just talk about the more extensive consequences that are overlooked. A lot of times people just look at, oh, they took the house, but there are some more extensive consequences that we as Epic Impact Investors is concerned about because that's our mission, right? So first of all, our capital investor, African American, a Black person, they are not getting their investment back, okay? Not immediately, not within the terms of the agreement. Once we get through foreclosure, they'll probably get their investment back. They may get the interest. It all depends. There's a billion different ways that those things play out. Okay. But so now we have a Black investor who's not receiving their interest at a minimum through foreclosure, and their principal is at stake. That's a Black investor like you and me, who worked hard for that money, who was passively investing in real estate and wanted to do good in our communities. Okay. They had a good heart and they understood Epic's mission and wanted to participate in that. Another consequence is that the vacant property doesn't do our community any good. Remember, Epic's goal is to build wealth through real estate investing. So we want that flipper, that rehabber, that borrower to finish the property and earn their money. We want those contractors to get paid. We want a completed house in a community of color. So a family, a Black family, a brown family, a person of color can move into that house and continue their wealth building journey and help to turn around and continue to add value to our communities. And I say add value because not every community of color needs to be turned around. That's the honest to God truth. I know that's the narrative that we get a lot, is that every community of color has to be turned around. That's not the case. We just want to continue to add some communities. We just want to continue to add value to our communities, right? So that vacant property, that unfinished building, doesn't do our community any good. It doesn't add value to it. Okay. It's an eyesore. It could be a safety thing, could be other issues going on that we don't want in our community. So that's another unintended consequence. Another consequence that people don't want to talk about is, the contractors on the project. Are they going to get paid? Where were they in the project when this left off? If they can't finish the project, clearly the contractors can go to another project and get paid. But, were they paid in full on this particular project? So that's another unintended consequence, is that some contractors, minority contractors, Black people, people of color, may not get paid for the work that they already did if this project isn't finished. Okay, that's an unintended consequence. And another one is the flipper themselves, the developer, the rehabber, the borrower on the hard money loan, they were most likely a person of color. And now they're going to end up with a default on their credit because we report that. And so we're not, it is not our goal to take properties because we don't want all of these other unintended consequences. We don't want all of these unintended consequences. That's not in alignment with our mission and the spirit of this organization. We want communities of color to thrive, and we want to help people of color build wealth through passive real estate investing. And when a borrower defaults all the way to the point after we've tried everything to help them, and we're left at the last option, which is to go into foreclosure and take the property, that is not something we're happy about. It's not something we're excited about. It's not something that we want. It's not our goal. We don't set out to do that. And so I want everybody to know that there's so many unintended consequences outside of having to take the house that happen to our communities that we feel have a worse impact on communities of color and people of color. So it's never our goal as a hard money lender to take any type of project from our borrowers. You know, if we end up at that point, trust me, it's because we literally did everything we could with that borrower and for that borrower to avoid that situation. But for whatever reason, the borrower just cannot finish the project. And remember, it is the borrower's responsibility to finish the project. We're not here to rehab properties. Okay. That's not the line of business that we're in. So we are not coming in to finish that for them. We're trying to give them the resources, the tools, people, referrals, whatever we can to finish it. But if they're just not showing up, this is too much, life is taking over, they could have had something happen in their lives and they're just like, I can't do it. And then we end up at that point. Okay. And I just want you all to know, we don't want the property. As I said earlier, it's not our business model to own the property. If we wanted to be flippers, we'd be flippers. So it's not our business. It's not our goal to go in and put the borrower in such a situation that we end up having to take that property. Our business is to make loans and to earn an interest on those loans, on a return for our capital investor to get their money back plus their interest. For us to make our loan servicing fee and to receive a portion of the interest. That's our business. That's our business model. And it was such a great conversation earlier because it does show two sides, that there are people out there who have had experiences or even know that there are hard money lenders who are sharks. Period, point blank. Yep, they're sharks. But here at Epic Impact Investors, we are not sharks. We are here because we have a heart for our community. We want to see people of color, we want to see Black people build wealth and close that wealth gap. And this is the way that we present in order to do that. It's going to take a myriad of ways for Black people to make money and increase wealth and to build wealth in order to close that wealth gap. This is just the way that we're presenting it because this is what we're good at. We're good at giving loans, earning the interest, getting our capital investor repaid with interest, and us making the service fee. That's our model, and helping people build wealth through passively investing in real estate. So I thought it was an excellent conversation. Just wanted to share that with you all today. If y'all have any comments, definitely put them in the comments. I will come back and answer them. As you all know, I always do. I hope that you all have a very peaceful and safe and hopefully virtual Turkey Day tomorrow. All right. Thanks, Epic. Don't forget all of the resources that we have for you. Not only do we have these videos for you every Wednesday, we have plenty of downloads. Get your Capital Investors, the Essentials Guide. It's a smaller version guide. Get your 7 ways, guaranteed ways to hard money approval. That's a new download that we have. And then we have a more extensive Investors Guide. And you get that guide after you schedule a free 15-minute consultation and you're like, hey, I have the capital. I'm interested in this. I just need some more in-depth detail. We will email you that guide. The Essentials Guide is not meant to overwhelm you. It's just meant to give you an overview so that you know what capital investing through a hard money lender is. And then the more intensive guide gives you way more information. Okay. So I'm Alexis Hart McDowell with Epic Impact Investors, and we look forward to servicing and giving you your next hard money loan. All right. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night.